Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm gonna be doing something a little bit differently. I'm gonna start like a little series of how to buy a car. This is the number one question people ask me all the time, is to help them buy a car. Each time I buy a car, things keep changing, but there are some basics that do stay relatively the same. So the first thing you would do before you even buy a car, you should check your credit in general. Just make sure that everything that you know about is correct. There are no discrepancies. There are no false inaccuracies on there that could potentially be harmful to your credit. All right, and this goes into the next step. Always obtain pre-approved financing from your bank before even beginning to shop, because this is going to tell whether or not what you can afford. That way you're not walking into a dealership not knowing anything, how much your payments are going to be, or how much the price of the car is, or how much you can afford. You don't want to leave it up to the mercy of the dealers to figure that out for you. You want to have that prepared. There are some dealers who are out there who will take advantage if you weren't prepared. Next thing you want to do is get a loan from your bank. You get that loan, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna apply for an auto loan. I enter my information, my monthly income, my address. Some banks have that information already on file, so it's makes for a quicker, easier process, because you're not spending a lot of time here apply the dealership. So you've obtained that loan. The bank says, all right, you're pre-approved. In my case it says $50,000. Now you can go shop, because now you have that buying power. And it's similar to buying a house, because realtors won't even show you a house unless you have some type of pre-approval. Now you're shopping like a cash buyer. You have one less thing to worry about. You can now focus on the car you're trying to buy instead of how you will pay for it. You can either visit the dealership or look online. I advise look online first. Look online and see the cars. See what kind of ones you want. That way you kind of look at the numbers there. You can take your time. You can look at the price of the car. Know kind of like, okay, well, here's the asking price. Here's what I can afford. Here's what monthly payment would be. Because your monthly payment is automatically configured based on the amount you finance, your interest rate, and the length of the loan. Those three things will determine your payment. I see common mistakes, and these are mistakes to avoid, is don't go to a dealership without a pre-approval. Don't go to a dealership and tell them, I'm trying to stay around $300 a month, because you are now telling the dealership to, here's my money, I don't know what to do with it. You just give me a car. And there's some dealers out there who could take advantage of you, and I'm trying to cut that. You got your pre-approval, you walk to a dealership, and you found your car. Say, for example, your $25,000 is your limit. Taking consideration taxes, let's say 7% is a tax limit. That's around like $1,800 of taxes. So you got to consider that into the loan, unless you pay for that as a down payment, which I recommend. Find a car, present your financing to the dealership. Hey, I'm approved with Chase Bank. Here's my information. The finance manager fills it out, a form. He gets funded. You sign a few paperwork over, and you get the keys to the car and drive away. The process should take no more than probably an hour of going in and out. And that's if you know what you want. You go in, you sign the paperwork, and you get out. But it doesn't always work that way. This is where things could get bad. You could walk in there with not approved, not anything, walk in, and they hand you this long sheet of paper. You sat down at the office and you fill out this credit application, and is wanting you to answer questions about the last 5 places you worked, where'd you live the last 6 years, things about your income, and you're spending at least a good 30 minutes filling out this long paperwork, this loan application. Then a dealer submits this application to several banks, and you're there in his office waiting for him to come back to you, and you're just hoping, your fingers crossed, that he's gonna get you a good rate and everything else. And he comes back and he has a smile on his face and he said, okay, good news, guess what, got you approved. It was tough, but we got it. All right, and they show you a piece of paper, and you look at it, and it shows, well, you see like 10% interest, or higher, and this loan payment is what you wanted, but they stretched it out to 84 months to get you that lower monthly payment. You're like, well, how can it be bad? Well, first of all, you're paying interest. Now you're upside down in the car. You're gonna lose value on the car when you leave the lot. Your payments aren't going to stay on top of the depreciation of the car. But the dealer tells you, don't worry. All right? They say, come back in a year. We'll refinance you. And again, the dealer's not the bank. If you call them back up in a year, go back there and visit them, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna sit time with you, refinance you. They're gonna tell you need to call your bank. Don't fall for that trap. They just do that to get you to sign the paperwork, accept those subpar terms. That way you get out of their hair, you have a car, they make a sale, they're done. And like I said, they're not remembering you in a year. First thing is just checking your credit, getting a pre-approval, then visiting the dealer. Now, you can make this work to your advantage. All right, say for example, you did get a 4.9% financing with your bank, which is not a bad rate. And it could be better, but it all depends on your credit. But the dealers have certain banks they work with, and they say, you know what, are you pre-approved? And you say yes. They'll ask you what rate. You can say I'm got a 4.9. They say, oh hey, guess what? Well, we can get you at 1.9. I'll say great. So you fill out a credit app with them, and if they come back 1.9. But you capitalize. The dealer wins, you win. If they cannot, well, you still have your fallback. So if they come out with a higher rate, you have your pre-approval, and you can go and continue to buy the car. That's my best advice. And there are tons of calculators out there to show you basically what you can, as you can play the numbers and know what your budget is. So if you're trying to stay around a certain number, play the numbers. Take a look at the price of the car. Add in the sales tax if some calculators allow you to add a sales tax in. That way even the tax is added, if you don't want to put any money down, you know what your payment is. There's no surprises in the end. All right, that's going to be the end of this video. Next part will be searching for the right car. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more this kind of multi-part series.